welcome to Truth or Politics. I'm your host, Darlene Price, and tonight we're going to, we have a show. We weren't supposed to have a show, but we're going to have a show. But first, before we get started, as always, we want to thank the people behind the scenes at Truth or Politics. We want to thank MBR TV and our hero, Steve Hall at MBR TV, who keeps us on local cable access television. Here in McCurry County and I think 13, 14 other counties all around us that have it. And we also want to thank people behind the scenes, Michael Mann, the magic of Michael Mann, who makes this show happen because I don't know any of this technology stuff. And we want to thank, of course, Dan Gibson, Truth Politics, Pulaski County. And we want to thank all of the viewers out there. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I got some new viewers out here in California, Southern Cali, where I used to live for a long time. We got some new viewers watching tonight, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so what happened was Mayor Keck ran his mouth again at the last city council meeting. Yeah, I'm real comfortable saying that because he does it all the time. And the Commonweath Journal, which to the new people, that's the local paper up in Pulaski County where we've exposed a whole lot of stuff here. We'll get to this in a minute. Let's just start off by, I'm going to read part of this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read, the pertinent parts of it, because we're going to respond to this. It says, recent discussions during the citizens' comment portion of the Somerset City Council meetings may be the cause of making changes and how that agenda item is handled. They're talking about people getting free speech, people being able to get up and ask questions to the city council. This issue stems from a recent discussion about the city's wastewater treatment facility, or more specifically about the treatment facility accepting landfill leachate for treatment. When it was first announced that the city was taking the liquid runoff from landfills, McCurry County podcast host Darlene Price led the charge, intending to stop that process. While she stated that her concern was aimed at trying to prevent what is known as forever chemicals, such as PFAs, that have been linked to medical conditions such as cancer, from entering Lake Cumberland as a part of that treatment process, Keck and certain members of the Somerset City Council questioned her motives for leading that charge. That was not only because Price is not a Pulaski County citizen, but also because she tended time to time her appearances at city council meetings around elections, including the primary and general elections in the mayor's race in 2022. Keck did not name Price during Monday's meeting, but seemingly because of the leachate discussion, Keck said that he wanted to prevent citizens' comments from becoming a political pulpit. Okay, wow, let's unpack this, shall we? First off, let me say this.
I think I heard some falsehoods in there.
Well, as we said, let's unpack this. Okay, my hecklefish here. Folks, I believe that trust is transparency. If you don't have it everywhere, you have it nowhere. Okay, first off, we started our investigation into the leachate stuff 2 years in February 2020. Remember? February 2020. 2 years before Mayor Keck's idiot election, okay? I didn't know who Mayor Keck was, didn't care. I went to a meeting. I was told about this toxic waste being brought in, and at first, did I believe it?
That was one of my meetings, and one of our members stood up and mentioned it. And
did I fall for it?
Well, we weren't really terribly interested at first, and then the more we heard about it, the more serious we knew it was. Right.
So what happened is we did an investigation. This is the investigation, okay? So, and one of the reasons I was interested in this 2 years prior to this election, folks, was I have a son, grandchildren, and family members, very close family members that live and work in Pulaski County, that are up there all the time, okay? This worried me. It absolutely did worry me. And for those of you who think that this was done in just a few weeks and we just threw this together, please go to YouTube. Type in Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath, parts 1 and 2. Now, this is over it's 2 hours and 2.5. It's almost 6 hours, right? It's like 2.5 hours.
I think 3 altogether. Both
of them 3 hours. Okay, both segments are 3 hours. Okay, that's after editing and everything else. Anybody who watches this, and the biggest criticism I got about this documentary, parts 1 and 2, Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath, was it's too long, okay? Anybody that knows anything about putting something like this together, about editing, knows you don't put that together in just a few months. You know, that took 2 years to put that together. And Michael Mann, thank you so much, because he did the really hard work on it, the editing and everything. Go ahead.
Well, the reason that it took that long, if we would have had the documents...
I'm going to hit that just next.
Okay.
That's next.
The effort and time it takes to put such as that together, and be absolutely sure that there's nothing that the enemy can't come at you with.
Right.
Make absolutely sure that everything you say is documented 10 ways to Sunday. Takes an incredible amount of time and effort.
Right.
And
it didn't just happen right before his election. So that is just a total lie. Okay. So not only that, we were operating, thank you, Michael Mann, that reminded me, on Keck's timeline. Okay. We would have had this done 6 to 8 months earlier, but his city attorney was jerking us around. Kept not coughing up the documents, act like he didn't know what we were talking about, playing absolute games. And by the way, we documented that too in the emails going back and forth. So we got the Attorney General's office involved, and magically, just a few weeks after the Attorney General's office gets involved, all of a sudden the documents appear. So that also put us behind. And by the way, the Commonwealth Journal knows this because they did do a really good story, and I'm going to get into that a little bit. And magically the editor disappeared after that. So, we're on Keck's timeline. Not only that, Keck, you know, you can't create a situation and then complain about the timing of the situation. You know, here he creates, him and his city attorney, this stumble block trying to hide this because they did not want the public to know about this. You know, if they wanted the public to know they were bringing in millions and millions of gallons of toxic waste and running it through a defective wastewater treatment plant, they would have had a public forum beforehand. They would have educated the public beforehand and let people ask questions, and they wouldn't have hid it from the city council, which came out later, that they absolutely did hide this from the city council. So, there's that. So, then in this meeting, Keck says he's going to consider deciding who gets to speak and who doesn't. And if you're not from the city of Somerset, he's basically threatening that you're not going to get to ask questions or anything, whether you're news organizations or not.
Doesn't our Constitution have something to say about that?
Yes. So we'll get into that. Okay. So then, who will be allowed to speak? That's the question. Probably his cronies, his loyal employees from whom he sends on lavish vacations, trips to San Diego at the taxpayer's expense, pays their $50 a week coffee bills, pays for their cable TV, all at the taxpayer's expense. Oh, by the way, we posted all those documents too previously, where Mayor Keck engages in all of his lavish spending on vacations and stuff, and all the spending on his employees. So probably that's who's going to be allowed to speak. Rest assured, no one who challenges him or dares to ask a question about his shenanigans will ever be allowed to speak, I'm sure. If, as he stated, only Somerset citizens will be allowed to speak, then will his buddy from the state EPA that he planned to come down. Remember Bill from the EPA? He kept saying he's going to come down here and give us all the warm fuzzies about leachate. So, would he be presented for coming to speak? Huh? Right. You know, if what Keck did only affected the people in Somerset, he might have an argument. Not really, but still.
No,
right. But what he did in bringing in millions and millions and millions of gallons of toxic waste, and yes, it is toxic waste, I don't care what they try to tell you, from 4 different landfills, and some of them even out of the state, and running it through a defective wastewater treatment plant into Pittman Creek, which runs into Lake Cumberland, which is in the Cumberland River, all the way down to Nashville. What you did there does not just affect Somerset, it affects everybody all the way down the river, okay? So, no. So, you know, I want to talk about Mayor Keck's patterns of behavior. In my 40 years of education, training, and experience, I was able to work on both sides of the criminal justice system as an investigator, for the prosecution and for the defense, and now for the defense. And I kind of learned a few things along the way. I learned some patterns of behavior, or, you know, we call them profiles. And Mayor Keck has some distinct, recognizable patterns of behavior. Number one, he hides what he's doing. He keeps things from the city council. Remember, city council didn't know about this leachate. City council didn't know anything, apparently, about, you know, his, you know, $1 million spending for a piece of property for the university, the Bridge to Nowhere University of Somerset. City council did not know about his lavish vacations at the city's, at the taxpayers' expense to, what was it, Key West, Vegas, Florida, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars, and numerous trips to Louisville partying it up. Again, staying in resort hotels over there. I think one night it was $400 one night, you know. So, and we've posted all this. Scroll down, you can look at it. We've posted all of these documents. And yeah, and you know, that's a pattern of behavior, spending taxpayer money on employees' vacations, coffees, cable TV, etc. Then, of course, you know, he makes these employees stand up at these meetings, in case you haven't noticed. Every meeting that his employees get up there, and it's just like, oh, thank you, Mayor Keck, and you butt kiss, you're so great, and we do this and that. We want to thank you, you know. Publicly, they have to get up and praise him, you know, which, what are they going to do, you know, sacrifice their job and their coffees and not do that?
Oh, they love him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he does everything that they love. They want that money.
And what would happen if they didn't do that, right?
They would go away.
Yeah. So, yeah, but the flip side of that coin, he chastises and name calls anybody who dares get up and question him. And the first two times I got up and just started asking questions about this and trying to educate. And by the way, the first time I showed up there, I was invited by your city council members to come and explain about this. And Keck called me a liar. Okay, not once, but twice he's called me a liar. So he chastises and name calls, another pattern of behavior, okay? By the way, on calling me a liar, again, we have hundreds and hundreds of documents. This is the investigation into Lake Cumberland, what really lies beneath. Right here. This is it, folks. Now,
anybody that has any question about any item that we've presented, we have documents to prove these things. If you have a question, just make it known to us. We will let you see those documents.
And I brought these to meeting after meeting, and people looked at them,
Yes.
and the city council actually looked at them and started becoming concerned. So we have the meats, okay, the Arby's commercial. We have the documents. What does Keck have to back up? Has he ever presented one single document to, you know, to say anything different than what we've coughed up? No. Has he ever presented a document or an argument about his lavish spending? No. No, he just runs his mouth. He has produced 0 documents to back up any claim or defense of any reporting on the lake, his spending, the Bridge to Nowhere, the tax difference in the Bridge to Nowhere from, you know, from the... Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? What kind of person would, for money, put some poison in waters that human beings are going to be using or drinking?
That's a
What
real
kind of
good
person
question.
would do that for money? And he clearly stated that he did it for the revenue. He made that statement. He said,
this woman that got up and asked, why would you take this risk? And he said,
I did it for the revenue.
I did. He used a different word though.
He said revenue. He didn't say money. He just said revenue.
Revenue, something like that. Okay.
Now, here's the thing. If you or I were to do such a thing, they'd call it a high crime. They'd call it a big felony.
We'd probably be in prison.
You'd probably be executed. If you, for money, poisoned people and killed them, you'd probably be executed.
Well, I don't know if we'd execute it, but you can bet we wouldn't be getting the treatment that that Mayor Keck has gotten. That's for sure.
What I want to ask though is why are they treating him with kid gloves? Why?
I'm going to get into that.
Okay.
I'm going to get into that. I'm going to answer that question here in just a minute.
I appreciate it.
Okay. So, another pattern of behavior. Did you want to say something? Speak up, Dan? Or me? Both. Okay. Another pattern of behavior. He eliminates the checks and balances in the city council, like hiding things and his spending and everything from the city council. City council members didn't know about it. And now, another pattern of behavior, he clearly intends to silence free speech in any real free press or investigative reporting that dares ask him a question. Well, I'm going to answer this question you was asking. Some other people in history have followed the same patterns of behavior and profiles.
Many.
Okay. I'm just going to name a few. How about Saddam Hussein? Remember how he used to make his people get up there? Oh, Saddam Hussein, you're the best.
It's as if he read his handbook.
Right. Hitler used to do that. Ferdinand Marcos of the Philippines used to make his people and publicly get up and praise him and everything. Vladimir Putin. So that's kind of the people who have the same patterns of behavior. And oh, by the way, all of these stifled free speech and definitely killed, literally, free press that had anything to say other than singing their praises.
And here's the thing. Hitler and all these different despots, they had control of the media, and they wrote the history. So for us to hear this much bad about it, I don't think we could even imagine how really bad it was.
Yeah, you're right. Senator John McCain once said, "A fundamental part of democracy is a free and sometimes adversarial press. Without it, we lose our freedoms. That is how dictators get started." That was from a fellow veteran, John McCain. So, that's my response to Keck's comments in this article. Now I want to hit the Commonwealth Journal, okay? Commonwealth Journal. First off, we got an idea. We got you a new mascot and a new name. We're going to change your name to the Commonwealth Parrot. And this is your new mascot. I tried, by the way, when you're looking for something, you can't find it. I went to a bazillion stores, every little store you can imagine, trying to find a little parrot of some kind. I couldn't find anything, so this is the best I come up. Commonwealth Parrot. Why do we say that? Because that's pretty much all the Commonwealth Journal does, is parrot public officials. They don't question them at all. They just parrot whatever they say, and they can get away with it. So, first I want to, we published this last Thursday on the Truth Politics Facebook pages. Go down, scroll down. And we wanted to find out, well, wait a minute. Why is it that the Commonwealth Journal, a.k.a. the Commonwealth Parrot, why do they seem to not give a crap? Why do they seem to not question these public... What's up with that? Who owns them? So...
Why are they not exposing truth?
Right. Well, I did some what's called investigative reporting, okay? At the touch of my fingertips, which is easy to do, we went on the Secretary of State, and guess what? Commonwealth Journal is an assumed name. That's a legitimate business industry. And guess who owns and operates them? A company by the name of CNHI LLC. It is a foreign liability limited company. Headquarters in Montgomery, Alabama. Okay? Again, no ownership, no headquarters in Pulaski County. Okay?
But who really does own it?
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Okay, so...
They haven't yet said who these people actually are.
CNHI, this company that owns this foreign agent company, has its listing agent in Kentucky as a guy by the name of Chris Cato as its chief financial officer, but he's also listed on the Secretary of State as the agent for Kentucky. Who is Chris Cato? Chris Cato is executive VP for CFO for CNHI. Chris Cato pretty much spent his whole life in Alabama. He went to the University of Alabama. He lives in Helena, Alabama, United States, and has what I could find absolutely little to no contacts whatsoever.
And you would think,
and Kentucky.
At this point, there's a good old boy running all these newspapers, and there's that good old boy from Alabama.
Right now,
but
hang on, because I know a lot of people up here. I can't see, my glasses are getting smeared here. A lot of people, and I just made them worse. A lot of people in Pulaski County think that, well, we got local ownership of this paper. No, you don't. Your local ownership sold out a while ago, okay? And this same company owns a bunch of papers here in Kentucky. They own Wayne County Outlook, Moorhead News, Southeast Kentucky Publishing, Richmond Register. So they're in the business to make money.
In a big way.
In a big way. And they make billions, by the way. So, who is the major stockholders of the Commonwealth Journal, a.k.a. the Commonwealth Parrot? Well, we posted that too. A company by the name of Jet Zero Incorporated, a private company, which most of its ownership and stockholders are in where? China. Apple Incorporated, anybody knows about Apple, almost all their manufacturing and everything is done. Yeah, they have an office here in the United States.
Are you saying that China owns a major portion of our newspaper?
Well, and then China Evergreen, one of the biggest stockholders of this CNHI, which owns the Commonwealth Journal. China Evergreen is another one. And oh, by the way, what a coinkydink. They filed for bankruptcy last week. Literally the day that I was researching this, there's a newspaper article popping up that they filed for bankruptcy. So there you go. I mean, there's some other folks, and here it is. Evergreen files for bankruptcy protection as China economic fears mount. Okay, so folks, that is, and we posted the whole history and timeline of this company for you guys to read. Unless you're bored and you want to read something on it. But anyway, that's who owns the Commonwealth Journal. So then that should answer your question as to why is the Commonwealth Journal not give a crap of what's really going on here in Pulaski County? Why? Because nobody who owns this paper, has anything to do with Pulaski County. They just don't give a crap, okay? It's a multi,
What happened to the editor who did write a truthful...
I'm going to hit that.
Okay.
I'm getting there. Okay, so that's who owns the Commonwealth Parrot. Okay, so I want to hit this again. This quote here specifically. This is the quote in the article. Keck and certain members of the Somerset Council questioned her, meaning me, motives for leading that charge. That was not only because Price is not a Pulaski citizen, but also because she tended to time her appearances at city council meetings around elections, including the primary election and the mayor's race in 2022, even though we started our investigation in
I was there, and that's
2020.
absolutely untrue.
Yeah, and they know that.
We were invited at those times.
Right. So, the Commonwealth Parrot, you named me in your article, but did I get a phone call for a response? No. Again, what investigative journalists do is exactly that. That's lazy journalism. So that's okay. That's why I'm responding anyway.
It seems to me worse than that. It seems like they're giving one side.
Well, yeah, they're giving cover.
Time and cover.
To their cronies.
Without
letting
you have one word to say of truth in the other direction.
Right.
Doesn't seem quite right to me.
Nope. So, let's talk about your timing. The Commonwealth Patriot. Your timing coincides on questions for your politicians and stuff. Your timing coincides with never, nada, nisht, nine, because you don't ask questions. You don't ever ask your politicians any questions. You parrot whatever they want to say, and that's it. That's it. In fact, the last guy who did question Mayor Keck and his cronies and did a decent article on this landfill leachate coming in, it was like a full-page front article. He really did a good job. He laid out both sides, explained how this is dangerous, quoted me, quoted Keck. He did a fair and balanced article. Following week, he disappeared. The China syndrome got him. He was gone. So, that tells you a lot, okay?
Well, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Do they pay any type of business license or...
Well, I'm sure they have to pay a business license, yeah.
And what if that got revoked by one of these politicians? They'd be out of business with it.
Well, yeah, but I doubt that's ever going to happen. Why would you revoke a paper who just parrots what you want to say and don't question you?
My point, exactly.
Exactly. Okay, so the Commonwealth Parrot holds no one accountable. Case in point, another case in point, the Pulaski County Sheriff's missing money and missing evidence. The Parrot reported nothing on this missing evidence. They only reported the missing money. Folks, this was a big freaking deal. Again, here you go. PCSO investigation into that, okay? We have the documents. We have, and by the way, everything I get, it's public. They can use, I usually send it to them. I want them to do articles. Please steal my work. You know, I don't care if you give me credit or not.
Our motive is to educate the public,
right,
and try to make things better. We don't care how it gets done. If they can take our facts or documentation of any of these issues and use them to make the world better, or our county up there a better place, we'll help them.
Yeah.
We'd be pleased to do that. We're not working against anyone.
And that's what happened to the former editor. You know, I sit down with him. He saw all of this. Well, I didn't have all of it then, but most of it. And it concerned him. And, you know, so he did what he did. He did the right thing. I think somebody else actually wrote it, or he co-wrote it, or whatever. And then, well, you saw what happens. But back to this Pulaski County Sheriff's thing. Okay. Here's what happened. It came out that it wasn't just money missing. I think it was just short of $30,000 that we know of out of the Pulaski County evidence room. Folks, there was 5 pages of missing evidence that occurred from like a period of 5 or 6 years, okay? This is a big freaking deal, okay?
I got a question.
Let me finish this.
Okay.
This is a big deal. We're talking DNA evidence, blood evidence, computers, laptops, guns, ammunition. Evidence that can either put bad guys in jail, or now they can't because it's gone, or, you know,
that was the question I was
innocent people. This is how innocent people go to jail. Is this kind of crap, okay? So, the sheriff got to get up in front of the Commonwealth Parrot and just say whatever he wanted, and nobody asked a question. They didn't ask him. Time out. You just talking about the missing money. What about all this missing evidence where there are documents, memos that went to you? Okay, you were sheriff for, you know, like 7 years before this happened. I got these here memos that we've previously posted, all these documents showing this. Did the Pulaski, or did the Commonwealth Parrot ask a question? No, 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 no. He was allowed to say whatever he wanted, and they just parroted him. That is not
he was on the sheriff's
investigative journalism. Yeah, no, he was the sheriff. Sheriff Speck.
Speck was, yes.
Yes. So, no questions. No questions about the master key. Folks, the master key to an evidence room went missing. Okay? No questions. Didn't ask him, oh, by the way, how long was it missing? Where did you find it?
The moment they discovered it was missing, everything should have stopped until it was found.
Well, it was a total Charlie Foxtrot. And, you know, had Speck let me interview him, which of course he would not, believe me, I had 100 questions that I would have asked Speck. And the Commonwealth Parrot had an opportunity to do that, and they did not. And you gotta just simply shake your head and ask why. You know, why would you let a public official get away with this? Not only that, I got the police report. Speck reported this in writing on official KSP report to the Kentucky State Police. He only put the money on there. He hid, I'm sorry, but he hid the fact that there was 5 pages of missing evidence. Also, it came out that they hadn't had an audit in like 6 years. And the only audits they had on record whatsoever was they audited themselves. So nobody had ever looked at it.
Unbelievable.
I know. To an evidence room. An evidence room where they can put your ass in prison based on these evidence procedures. And the Commonwealth Parrot couldn't come up with one question.
Voters up there, please, please, please listen to what we say. Please hold these people accountable.
Yeah.
Please don't just, because it may be you that they come after next.
Yeah.
Don't think it won't happen. Sooner or later it'll be you. And
Folks,
you regret not having done something at that time.
That's not investigative reporting. That's allowing public officials to get away with anything they want with no accountability. It's been the same with Keck. He says he just wants you, and he just wants, and you parrot him. He says whatever he wants, and the Commonwealth Parrot just parrots him. There's no investigative. Every one of these city council meetings, I have yet to see anybody from the Commonwealth Parrot get up and say, time out. What about this? What about this spending? You know, can you tell us why you spent $6,000 to $8,000? Was it $6,000, $8,000? I think it was $6,000 plus on a trip that the taxpayers paid for to Key West at a resort. You mind explaining that? You know, did the Commonwealth Parrot ask?
I've been down there. I couldn't stay in the place. It was way too expensive for me. But I've been down there and seen it, and it's just outrageously nice.
Yeah, your tax dollars are paying for this. And the Commonwealth Parrot says nothing. Now, I want you, they talked about our timing being political, okay? I want you to compare that, what their timing is, which is no timing, because they don't ask any questions. I keep getting crap on my glasses, and I can't see. Sorry, guys, I'm old. Okay, here's what our timing is, folks. We will not walk away from or slow walk any investigation or reporting just because there's an election looming. To do that, that is truly playing politics.
Yes.
What? More?
We're just not going to do that.
No.
We won't put it off, or we won't speed it up.
No.
We'll do it right and as best we know how.
If we come up with evidence, like we have, this is just Pulaski County. We're in, what, 3, 4 counties. This is just Pulaski County, what we've dug up. On the police, the mayor, the lake. When we come up with evidence and we get the documents, we're going to post it. I don't care about your elections. If you're running for election and we expose something on you, too bad for you. I don't care. We don't care. That's our timeline. Our timeline is we do investigative reporting. We have the meats. We have the documents. We expose it. And if you don't like that, that's too bad. I really don't give a flying you know what. Okay? I don't. If you don't like that, it's real simple. As a public official, if you don't want us to find out about your shenanigans and expose them, don't do it. It's real simple. Don't do things that you are trying to keep secret. Don't do things that you're not proud of. Don't bring in millions and millions of gallons of toxic waste and run it through a defective wastewater treatment plant.
And when you question them about it a lot of times, they say, I'm not responsible, I have sovereign immunity. And that sovereign means kingly rights, that they're telling you they have the rights of a king. Now, I thought we had a little disagreement with England about that a couple hundred years ago, and I thought we settled that issue, that people here do not have sovereign rights. We don't have a king here, any kings. And I think that we should do a whole show about that, because that's a law.
We've hit it a couple of times.
I think we ought to do a whole show about that and then find out how we can go about holding these people accountable for what they do.
We brought this up on other shows, and it's this. There is the law of sovereign immunity. We have state laws here that give sovereign immunity to certain public officials. Your city council and your mayor, some of them, okay? And that gives them kind of an immunity from being sued personally if they do something wrong. Okay, now, that's your elected officials at the state rep, that's your state representatives and your state senators can at any time pass a law that says, no, you don't have sovereign immunity anymore. You poison people. You steal money. You do anything. Will they do that?
No, they'll do just the opposite. They'll take those same rights and multiply them for their
benefits, because they want sovereign immunity. So keep that in mind the next time there's an election coming up with your state representatives and state senators. They have done nothing to protect you from this. So, however, and I've brought this up before, you do not have sovereign immunity. It can be eroded in a lawsuit if it is shown that you have engaged in negligence, willful negligence, criminal negligence, or anything like that. What that means is, if you can breach the phase of sovereign immunity in a lawsuit, like a class action lawsuit, that very well could result from this lake stuff, okay? What that means is, if they show that you knew this was dangerous, you should have known, okay? and you did it anyway, that is negligence on an enormous scale. Now, I think where the city council will have an out is he did keep this from the city council.
Well, no,
but,
not just that. We gave the city council and him all of this information years ago.
Well,
now,
wait.
definite proof that it was deadly poison and they shouldn't put it in there. And how many million gallons did he put in there after he already had this information?
Right.
So he can't claim that he did not know.
No, he knew.
These are documents that federal agencies will give you. This is documentation that can't be questioned, and yet he continued putting many millions of
gallons. And he fought it every step of the way. So Keck has no...
He didn't want to quit.
Mayor Keck has no protection. You know, if this turns up to be a lawsuit, he very well could be personally liable, not just the city, because he knew it and he did it anyway.
Well,
okay?
I think we need more than just a civil issue. I think we need criminal prosecution.
Well, I know, but good luck getting that because the state EPA has been complicit in that. And that's a whole, we've already covered that in another story.
Well, I understand, but people need to start going in that direction, start thinking in that direction, that hold these people actually accountable as they would hold you, because they're just citizens. This is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, supposedly for the people. And supposedly we're all in this together, and so we're all held as accountable as the one is held as accountable as the other. Now, why is it that the average citizen can go to jail in a New York minute for the smallest of infractions, and yet this man can poison many people knowingly for revenue, and nothing happens to him?
Well, here's what did happen for our new people, is the citizens did come forward. The citizens, you know, and again, the citizens are the heroes up there because the citizens of Pulaski County and Somerset, they came out in droves. They had the biggest crowds ever there, and they got it shut down. And not all the city, you know, some of the city council, you know, they came to our public forum,
Yes, they did.
and they helped get it stopped. Now, the city council members, and y'all have been watching this, you know who it is. The ones on the right over there. Anyways, the ones that kept, you know, trying to keep it. And finally they voted, you know, unanimously to stop. But when it became, you know, beyond obvious that the citizens were pissed and just ain't going to take it anymore.
And that's another thing. They voted to stop it immediately. That was their vote. They didn't say we'll stop it at the end of the contract or whatever. And yet they continued to put millions of gallons in until the contract was over.
Right.
And yet the council voted to stop it.
Right
then.
So
that they disobeyed the council and continued to put it in. It's just incredible.
But the citizens did get it stopped. It has been stopped. So that's important to know because we got new people watching. It has been stopped. Now, what damage has been done, who knows? You know, we're talking, like a year ago, it was already at like 60 million gallons, like a year ago. Who knows? It's got to be well over 65 million gallons of this stuff that's been run through a defective, absolutely defective documents to prove that, wastewater treatment plants. So the bottom line here is if you don't want to be reported on as a public official by us or real news agencies, don't do stupid stuff. They got away. I think they felt real comfortable getting away with stuff up there, all this stuff for a long time.
Oh, yes.
Because the Commonwealth Parrot is not, with the exception of the last editor, he did a good job.
Well, admitted he did a good job.
He was gone. The Commonwealth Parrot, you haven't been doing your job. You just haven't. Okay? You haven't questioned anything. And this is why they got all warm and fuzzy and cozy up there, and Keck thought I can do whatever the hell I want. And he has. His spending and everything else, and you haven't questioned anything. Okay?
Come election time, people, please remember what this man has done.
Okay, so what we're going to do is what real investigative journalists do. We, you know, to do otherwise, that's what is playing politics. When you're kowtowing to the cliques and the cronies that would be governors, you know, that's not good. You're not news, okay? You're the Commonwealth Parrot. Any public official who is proud of what they're doing does it in the light of day with full approval of the city council or, in the case of the county, with the magistrates. You do it in the light of day. You don't hide it. Okay? Why didn't Mayor Keck, and here's the other thing, and I think I hit it before, why didn't Mayor Keck hold a public forum before he started bringing this stuff in? Why
Because
didn't the
he knew.
Commonwealth parrot ever ask him any questions on it? Okay. So, kind of to wrap this up. We're at 6:39.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes. Go ahead.
Does the city council have the right, or is there legal things in place that they could impeach
Yes.
a mayor? They can. It is possible.
It is possible. It's very difficult. The city councilman can engage in what's called impeachment processes. I've not really done the research on that, but you have to look at what just happened with Flynn. Okay, the clerk up there. I mean, the crap that he got away with. Yeah. Oh my gosh!
But they still haven't done anything to him, have they?
No, he's you know the judge ruled and he's guilty on every charge.
Yes,
but the Supreme Court has not.
The state of Kentucky.
No, they have not given their answer yet. So,
yeah.
But
well, you know, one of those Supreme Courts, this little cuz from down here, she's part of that.
I know, but here's the thing, folks. Look what it took. Look how long it took, and look the efforts it took to get rid of him. So, elected officials are hard to get rid of. Yes, there's a process, but it's difficult. So that's the answer to that question.
I'm sorry.
No. That's, it's just hard. It's hard. But, yes, it can. Everybody said you can't stop leachate, you can't fight City Hall, and the citizens of Somerset came together, and they did stop it. So
shows that you can accomplish these things if you just will do it.
Right. Okay, so, bottom line is this, folks. The sad fact is, I believe in print news. I do. The truth is, we need the Commonwealth parrot to do its job and become the Commonwealth Journal. We need print news. In history, it's always been print news that has always done the real investigative reporting. The Vietnam War ended primarily because the Washington Post had the balls to go against a federal court order. Can you imagine back then, federal court comes out and says, do not go to press this. In other words, we can throw your ass in jail if you print this. Okay? That's what happened. And the Washington Post said, screw you, and they printed it anyway. They printed what's called the Pentagon Papers.
And they stood on their constitutional rights.
Right. And guess what? Once they showed the balls to print, the next day or two, the New York Times printed, the LA Times, everybody backed them up. All while protecting a federal government whistleblower. He was I think he was a captain or maybe a colonel, Daniel Eisenberg. I forget what rank he was in the Air Force. He took all these documents, the Pentagon Papers, boxes of them, from the Pentagon, and took them to the press because he knew it was a big lie. They were lying about everything. The Pentagon was lying about the body count, what was really going on, how much money. It was the biggest lie ever told. And thousands of our young kids were going over there dying in the killing fields of Vietnam. The Washington Post is really what stopped that. Print news is important, okay?
The print finally exposed what the Vietnam War was really about.
Yeah.
Gulf of Tonkin is loaded with oil.
Yeah, and they talked about that too. That's what I'm saying. Also, the Watergate scandals. We're a little bit older. I know we got some young people that probably don't know what Watergate is or the Pentagon Papers was. Okay, the Watergate scandal. That took incredible balls to go against the President of the United States and heads of the CIA and all of these criminals who literally were burglars by night. Burglarizing not just the Watergate building.
I'm sure that's the least of their transgressions.
Yeah. And they exposed that. Okay. We would know nothing about that. Who knows? The Vietnam War might still be going on if it wasn't for print news. Okay. The Commonwealth Journal. You've got good writers up there. You really do. You got great writers up there. Your writers are better than me. Okay, they are. Your writers are way better writers than I am. But investigative journalism isn't just good writing. Okay. The key word in investigative journalism is investigate. Okay, that means you ask questions. That means you hold public officials accountable. That means you don't just parrot whatever they say and not ask a question.
I'm not sure they're allowed to print whatever they want to print.
Well, hence China, okay? And that may be the case. Good point. It may be, so it comes down to this. Either the Commonwealth parrot is not allowed to question things. You know, the people out of Montgomery, Alabama and China, whoever owns the Commonwealth Journal, are telling them, no, no, no. They're not allowed to, in which case, that's sad. That's sad. Then you know, you're just an ad paper. I mean, you do a little sport, you do a good job with sports and everything, but you're not news, okay? So change your name from Journal to Commonwealth Parrot, because that's what you do. Or, you know, grow a set of something. You know, become the Washington Post. Grow a set of something. You know, folks, do you think Pulaski County Sheriff's Department and PD and Mayor Keck, this is all Mayor Keck, this is some other stuff that we haven't even, this is coming. You think all these people, you know, they hate my guts, okay? I'm sure they do. I'm sure Mayor Keck goes home at night, he's got a picture of me and he throws darts at it, okay? And I really don't give a crap, okay? And you should, the Commonwealth Journal, you need to grow a set of something, okay? Because we need you. That's the sad fact. We need print news. We need better writers than me to expose this stuff. You know, we'll give you everything we got. In fact, when we post something, it's yours. It's for the public. That's why I make it public. Anybody who wants to use it, anybody, any other news that wants to use it, take it and run with it. You go, girl. You know what I mean? Or boy, or whatever. Let's see. By standing by and parroting and not asking any real questions, that will ensure, by having that tactic, it may ensure that you'll have a seat at the table with the cronies. But these public officials are just using you. They're using you, the Commonwealth Journal, to help them deceive the public and hide what they're really up to. When you allow them to get away with what they get away with, they're using you, okay? And you're just a tool for them. Yeah, you get a seat at the table, but what's it worth? I mean, is it really worth it? So, it's just this simple. You can choose to be a real reporter or change your name to the Commonwealth Parrot if that's all you're going to do. And to the citizens of Pulaski County that think that they're not going to be able to comment in front of the mayor if he does this, well, never worry. Because you know what? There is a citizens page. It's called the Pulaski County Citizens page. And you can go on there and ask your questions. And you know what? We're going to go back to, soon as our station's remodeling right now, we're going to go back to call-in shows too. And what we do historically on our call-in shows is you call in. By the time it goes through the phone and everything, nobody can figure out who you are. You can identify yourself or be anonymous, and you can ask questions.
We want to include everyone. We want you all to be as active in making your government back into the transparent for the citizen government that it once used to be.
Yes. Because the bottom line is this, folks. The truth will eventually come out. You can either be the one writing it, or you can go to the Pulaski County Citizens page or the Truth of Politics and read it. One of the two. So you can keep being the Commonwealth Parrot. Or my hopes is that the brilliant writers that you have up there, because you do, you've got some really good writers up there. I
agree with that.
You do. They're amazing. Again, they put me to shame when it comes to writing. They're way better writers than I am. But there's more to investigative journalism than just writing. You've got to start asking these people questions. You can't just let the sheriff get up there and say, yeah, we missed some money, and there was some problems in the evidence room, and that's it. Really? What about these 5 pages? What about this pastor key? What about the dog training narcotics thing missing? Just kind of skimmed right over that. That's those things are controlled by DEA. For those of you who missed that show, during the same time frame that 5 pages of missing evidence goes missing, and we find out that there's nobody's looking at the evidence room, no audits, no nothing. They get to audit themselves. Oh yeah, that's good. No outside No checks and balances whatsoever. At the same time, I get a call that says, oh, by the way, Wayne County Sheriff's Department did a warrant, and they found a dog training narcotics kit. These are controlled by DEA. These have tight controls over them, okay? They're supposed to be, you have to check them in and out of evidence rooms. The Pulaski County evidence room should have been controlling that, asking questions, checking balances. It ends up in a warrant, a narcotics warrant in another county. And nobody asked a question about that. You had the sheriff in your crosshairs, and you didn't say, hello, McFly, hello. What about all this other stuff missing? What about the fact that it came out in a hearing in front of a judge?
I don't think that if they really believed the truth, that eventually it will be their turn. If they really believe that they're going to come after them at some point, then they might do something. But evidently they don't believe what we're saying. They don't believe that they will eventually come after you. I don't understand why we don't take action and put a stop to this.
I don't know. I just know that there was a hearing about this missing evidence. And at this hearing, it was exposed in the public at a hearing that the Pulaski County Evidence Room hadn't had any audits. And the one that they had, or two that they had, were self-audits. Okay, same thing, no audits. And there was missing evidence and missing money. And the state police investigator was brought in to investigate. And you had the sheriff in your crosshairs. If I ever get an opportunity to put a public official in my crosshairs like that, I mean, boom, 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 boom. There's a million questions I could have asked him. You never ask one question. No questions. I'm sorry, but that's just, I don't know what to call it. Anyways.
I don't either. I don't understand. I really do not understand.
I don't. Well, and the answer may be this. China. It may be the fact that...
do you think maybe the general public's being misled? Is that what you think?
Oh, I know the general... No, I don't think. I know the general public is being misled. Period.
Well, I know we're trying to correct that.
We're trying to correct that.
But how do we make it absolutely certain that we are the light that they need to look at and listen to? How can we get them all interested and get them seeing the truth? Well,
we got a big... it's already starting. I mean, compared to... I mean, look at the following we have. Our following has grown big time. The Pulaski County Citizens page on Facebook has grown unbelievable. And it keeps growing. And you got some really good people doing some work, and some people really doing some good writing over there. You got some really good writers over there. Yes. Again, they put me to shame. There's a reason I do a show. I write pretty good, okay? But I'm telling you, the Commonwealth Journal / Commonwealth Parrot really has good writers. And you guys need to really be doing this stuff. You really need to be exposing this stuff instead of just selling ads.
And take your government back.
And take your government back. Fist bump. Absolutely. Okay. I can't believe we're actually finished. You got a question. Good, because I thought we'd go over an hour. Go ahead.
Well, it's not a question, but do you care if I touch on protecting people Facebook accounts?
Yes. Oh, please. Come over here. Yeah, okay. That is an excellent thing. Folks, a lot of you people are getting hacked. Okay, there's a difference between getting hacked and someone cloning your Facebook account. Now, if they just do a phony Facebook account that looks like yours and they're trying to lure your people over to them so then they can defraud them, that's called cloning. But what's been happening here lately, correct me if I'm wrong, come around here, Michael Man, is they have been actually hacking into your account and stealing. So he is the expert on this. Thank you, Michael Mann. Good job. I want you to get into this.
Well, I don't know if I would classify myself as a Facebook expert.
Well, he's an expert on computer.
I've got experience with it. I'll just phrase it like that. There's ways to protect yourself. If you get a message from somebody on your friends list, they'll say, all right, I'm locked out of my account. I set you up as a backup to send you a code, and could you give me that code whenever you get it? Well, a lot of people are falling for that and sending that code to them. But that code is actually to your account. And so whenever you give it to them, then they'll log into your account, they'll change your password, and get in there and just steal your account. They'll lock you out. And then they have access to all the people on your friends list, and they can just keep going on and on and on until they exploit everybody. And their data miners is what they're going after. You know, they're trying to steal identities and stuff like that. There's ways to protect yourself, and one of the first things you need to do is protect everybody on your friends list. Hide your friends list. Don't allow people, public people, to be able to come in and see everybody on your friends list, because they wouldn't have any other way of finding them except for the fact that you're exposing them to the hackers.
Have I done that? Hidden my friends list?
I'll check.
I don't think I did that. Okay.
But you also want to hide your personal information, you know, like your date of birth, especially your phone number. You do not want your phone number exposed to the public, but you need to have your phone number in there, because whenever you turn on two-factor authentication, they need a place to send a code, and that would be to your phone. And that locks your account to your personal phone, and if somebody does try to get into your account, the code will go to your phone, and you'll be notified, you know, that somebody has gotten into your account. But you start out by getting yourself a good password. You know, you don't use your dog's name, you don't use your grandchild's name, date of birth, social security numbers, anything like that. If you can read your password, somebody can steal it, because they use brute force software where they go in and they just keep hitting these random words and numbers until they get in. That's not really hacking, but it's a form of theft. So, you know, you use like capital letters, lowercase, numbers, and symbols. And I don't know that I would stop at 8 characters. You know, that's, you know, the minimum, but you can go up more. Another thing that I like to do in creating passwords is, like, I might think of a song lyric. You know, like I used the example today, the devil went down to Georgia.
Looking for a soul to steal.
Looking for a soul to steal. And so, you know, I'd capitalize some of the letters and change some of the letters to symbols, and then use that as a password. It will not be picked up in a brute force dictionary to steal it. Now, once you get your password changed, you can go into your settings and you can see where all you're logged in at. Every device that you've ever logged into your Facebook account will be on there, like old phones that you don't have anymore, computers that you don't have anymore. Those logins are still shown in your Facebook. And then even hackers, where they've logged into your account. And so what you can do, it'll show the device that you're currently on, and so you go and log all the other accounts out, because, you know, they don't need to be on there. And then on your other devices, like you'll be like on your phone or your computer currently, whenever you get back on them again, you'll have to re-log back in, but you'll know that that's a valid account, you know, that you actually did it. And that's pretty much it. You know, use the two-factor identification and protect yourself.
And do not fall for these. Say again what the private messaging people. In private messaging, what is the message again that not fall for?
Yeah, well, they'll create a fake account, send you a friend request, and you accept a friend request. Well, then they'll send you a message and say, I've got logged out on my account, and so I set you as a backup. It may not be in these exact words, but, you know, this is what they're doing. It's a trick. You know, they're saying, you know, I used you as a backup for my password. So I'm going to have a code, have them send a code to you, and if you don't care, send me that code so I can get back into my account. And you want to help. You said, sure, you know, oh, I got the code, here it is. I know people that's done this. And then once they get that code, they click change password on, well, that's what they've done. They've already clicked change password. That's how come you get the code. And then you give them the code on change password, and they change the password, and they log right into your account. And then it's theirs. It's no longer yours. It's theirs.
Okay. Thank you. That was very informative. We appreciate that. Folks, we're at the end of time. We hope that we've been informative. We've had a lot of fun at the Commonwealth Journal's expense, America's expense. But, oh well, they deserve it. So, but we hope, I really, really do hope that the Commonwealth Journal comes around and actually starts doing investigative reporting. I really do, because we need you. We need the Commonwealth Journal to do their job. We really do. So, we're at the end of time. Folks, thanks for joining us. We want to thank all the people on Facebook. We want to, this will be posted on YouTube tomorrow as well. We want to thank Michael Mann, all the people behind the scenes that, and all, we've got people in several counties that help us with this. I want to thank Dan the Man Gibson, my Hecklefish, for being on here again and putting up with us. And we're going to take a couple weeks off. We were supposed to take this week off, but that article came out. But folks, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see you, oh, and thanks to MBR TV. And we will see you next time on Truth or Politics. Thanks.